a bit of freeform work. Let's see what's what. So, I don't know what happened here. I think a previous map that I was making didn't work out because I realized I had initially created it too small, and I don't want to end up with something that I really like only to find out later that I can't print it out on anything other than an index card. So I recreated this guy. I've got some mountains going. We're just doing some world building 101 here. So I don't like this. I spent a lot of time kind of on that texture, but I'm going to get rid of that. I'm not feeling it too much. What's this? Ooh. Okay, that's some color. So I think what I'm going to do here is just turn that down a bit, so it's not so saturated, I guess, is the word. There's the mountains themselves. It's kind of all over the place, but it's okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish it. We'll go black. Wrong layer. There we go. And just keep creating some more dynamic. So check this out. We're going to get rid of this. You know what? We're almost going to start over because I'm just not feeling. This happens sometimes, folks. What I will do is I'm going to create a jagged ridge line system just so it gives me a guideline. And then from here I'll kind of manipulate and play around with this a bit. So we'll kind of work from this. We'll use these lines for whatever. You know what? My mountains always look terrible when I do them this way, so it ends up looking like a chasm, right? I just have a hard time with the perspective of it. So I think what I'm going to end up having to do is sort of, you know what? Let's do this. Let's create a new mountain. Oops, oops, oops. I didn't want that. We're going to create a new window. We're going to go pixels, like we're just going to go about 400 by 400 and only 72. I don't need to go any more than that, simply because I am just creating a brush, okay? And this is how you do it. So first thing is make sure you're on a new layer so that I can turn off the background, right? But I'm on the new layer, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a mountain. Good enough. We're going to add some bits to it. Cool. Come off of here a little bit. Bam. Maybe something along this, like that. And we'll go this way. And then these will come that way, like this. Cool, right? Too close. Good. That's almost enough. Apologies on the noise right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go smaller brush, and I'm going to create some shadow. That's a little too small. So I'm going to go here. Okay. It doesn't have to be dead on precise. What was the line in the wonderful movie by Marissa Tomei and Joe Pesci, I think? Joe Pesci. Yeah. Goodfellas guy. The movie I'm referring to is My Cousin Vinny. What does she say? Dead on balls. So this shadow doesn't have to be dead on balls accurate. Now, one thing I can do is I can leave all of this side as for highs, right? Or I can just change the shadow or the angle. As you space these things like this, it's going to look a lot more dark. It's a lot darker, right? If I space them apart a little more, I create some sort of texture and some shape, but it's not as vibrant. So I think I'm just going to leave it like that. And here's what you do. You just simply go like this. I'm going to crop it because I really don't need any bigger than... That's fine. And then you go Edit, Define Brush Preset, and we'll just call this a new mountain. Bam. I can close this or save it in case I want to bring it up later on. Okay? But whatever. There it is. It's a brush. It's now down here. And what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to move it all the way up because I'm going to use this guy on this map, maybe other maps. So it's just saved in my sort of brush database. I'll put it down right here, right below my cool shape. There it is, a new mountain. See, it's a brush. And as a brush, I can use the brackets. I'm actually drawing with the brush, but I'm using those things on the keyboard. the brackets will make the brush bigger and smaller. And all I simply do is I can do any color I want. I can do it in red as it's a brush, and I just tap on my Wacom or click with the mouse, and I just made a mountain. And I tap and I tap. Now you don't want to draw because that's what's going to happen. Okay, I'm just creating. So I can use this. I had mentioned this in other videos. I don't remember. I have enough videos that hard to keep track of what video I've referred to what. But if I made my scale like this, that's going to change the scale of my world. It makes the continents look smaller, or the mountain is just absurdly large, right? If I made them like this, sure, it's going to give me a little better scale, and I can fill in more details because I have more space, but that's not readable, right? You can't really see what's happening there. So what I'm going to do is erase this for a second. We're going to go back to brush. I think my flow is off. That's why it's kind of printing in. Yeah, I kind of like that. That actually came out well. But what it did is it just helped me get through. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go like this. Notice I'm not touching anything, right? I don't want to have them overlap because I want to erase the lines that they create. But here, and the sort of just as I can control the pen pressure on my brushes, if I press really hard, it's going to put a much more firm line. If I barely touch, it kind of puts less ink down on the paper. I will typically mess with the sizes on my own using the brackets, as I said. That actually informed me of something right there. I kind of like this little, see, they're little mountains, but they kind of just help give me some terrain nearby. Okay, so that's already pretty good. There we are. There's some mountains going on, right? I can paint over this afterwards, but this is just the initial line. So we're going to call this, well, it is mountains. And we're going to go Shift Control N, which is create another layer, Mountain 02. Now I'm going to go over the top. Watch this. We'll go here. And the reason why I need it on a new layer is I'm going to do some erasing. And this is going to start to sort of combine the ridge lines together like this. I'll zoom in and we'll go with the eraser tool and check this out. See what I mean? So that we don't have just this mushed up looking line work. See? They look like they fit. Like this one, I think. Maybe don't do too many of them initially because you're going to lose track of where you were. Kind of like I am right here. I'm a little bit. But that one, you know, you're just trying to create. Some of them are behind some of the others. It's all you're trying to do here. So there's nothing there. There's definitely one here. There it is. This one overlaps right here. See what I mean, though? But I've cleaned up. Now I can go back to the original layer and get rid of kind of this stuff a little bit so that it doesn't jumble in. Right? And it also doesn't, what's the word I'm trying to find? It doesn't make all the mountains look so uniform either. Like this, see what I mean? Like those look like just two peaks kind of together, which is a good effect. And then some of these will, so I'm erasing off the original mountain layer because some of them are running into the other mountain too much. The one I just put down, what is this one? No, I don't want to get rid of that one. I want to get rid of the other one. This is the new layer. See that line there? This is noodling stuff. I'm at 400%, so you probably won't even see this damn thing. But I still want to create, you know, it gives me some cleaner line work, which will allow me when I do the paint over to really create. See, I don't want that at all. I don't like that. I think it's the other one, the original mountain layer is running into the new one I threw down, so I'll kind of clean it up a bit like this. I don't know what this one is. See, that's not the new, that's the old one. And in this case, I'm going to make sure the old one isn't overlapping or whatever, vice versa. I'm going to go to this layer. I'm going to go back to brush. I need to close these up a little bit. So we'll put maybe one here. We'll put one here. Put one here to different size and one there. Nope, like that. Nope. I'm going to use the mouse because it gives me a firm click. Oftentimes when I go to click real hard, I kind of slide too much with the Wacom, so that just cleans it up a little better. So there we go. See that? Is I just put these down because it's now connecting a little bit. I'll go one here. And you can do this. See that? The line work from the original is crossing over. And see that? That looks better already. And then this one has the new mountain is crossing over. And then we're going to go another one on the new. Make sure you know what layers you're on. So we're going to go like here. And then we'll just simply erase right there. See that though? And then I think we erase, yeah, see? We erase that as well. But look at what we have. We've got a lot going on. Those little mountains, there's a big line right here running into the mountains right here. See that? I got rid of that. I think this is the old one. Has this line. Yeah, there. Cleaned it up a bit. I don't like this. I'm going to get rid of that one. Okay. And now I can go Shift Control N for another layer, and we'll call this Hills. Do I have a buddy here? I think there's a ferret. Maybe not. You have a lot more stuff? Okay. What happened with my... Yeah, help her out, baby. I'm on my video real quick. What the hell is... There we go. So that'll work. There. We're throwing down... We're throwing these hills, and what it's doing is it's kind of creating some ridge lines, right? I'm kind of just doing some connection so that there's not just this empty space, and I'm doing it zoomed in, so when I zoom out I'm assuming it's going to look a little cleaner. See, here you can just throw some junk, whatever. I don't like that one. That's too straight of a line. You want to keep things organic. Really nice and stuff like this. So we'll go here. Boom. Go in here like this. I like that. That's looking good. We'll kind of... I'm playing off of the mountains that I already created a bit. So there's a... Thank you. Let's see. We'll go here. See, these will just, there, I hook that a little bit. Just need a little bit of noodles and blah, blah, blah. See, I can even start throwing in some more mountains, kind of like cracks and crags. And it all runs together, you know. That's just how your mountains flow. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of adding to the line work that I did on when I created that brush, right? But it's creating interest, I guess. Okay, I can mess with the shadows and the highs and the lows and stuff like that on another layer in just a moment, but this at least gives me some good clean line work, some consistency in the peaks since it's a brush and I was just sort of creating another, you know, I was just creating itself over and over again. See, that one's kind of by himself, so we'll kind of do some connections over here, and you know, and the other good thing is this is all on its own layer, so it's not a big deal if I just turn it off and it's all gone. If I don't like it, or if I erase it, I'm not undoing and having to erase all the stuff that I already put down with the previous line work and so on. So, you know, but this just gives you, you know, I mentioned this in previous video, the mountains don't just start and form and shape, you know, and just spit out of nowhere. I mean, they can, of course, it's a magic world. A god can just go and sort of Play-Doh himself a mountain range, but generally, you know, you're going to have hills leading into this area, because what you do here is we're world building. Yes, I'm making a map, but this is not a cartography project. I'm making a map with the intention of building a world that I can publish and bring to my table for my players and allow others to look through my map and be inspired to create adventure and stories within my world, right? And in that, by having these little terrain pieces, I'm creating little interesting spots where I can throw, you know, a dwarven clan over in the hills, stereotypically, you know, or I can create, you know, a hobgoblin tribe that sort of nestles themselves along the peaks, you know, or white dragon cultists, you know, and these northern ones up here, all of these are always snow-capped and whatnot. And it's too high for them to get up there, but they know, or they believe at least, that the ancient white dragon lives up there. So they just nestle in the areas outside of it, and that's what you give by a bunch of terrain, so that you're not just relying on the texture of the map, which basically makes the whole damn thing look like desert. As I'm creating really rocky terrain where there can easily be caverns and dungeons and tombs to plunder and explore and blah blah blah. So now I'm noodling a little too much. I think it's going to look even better once we start throwing some some colors down. So let's see where we are zoomed out. There's 100%. See what I mean? That region, I really like those mountains. It looks really good. I'm happy with that. So we're going to go Shift Control and New Layer, and we're going to call this one, what's the iced tea? I'm old school enough. Colors is the name of the song, I think, based on, I don't know if it was New Jack City or was the movie Colors? I don't remember. But anyway, colors, we're going to go overlay. I like overlay a lot. It allows me to go with black. And I can draw. See? It kind of keeps some of the texture underneath it, or the color. So we can mess with this a bit. I'm running in. It's a little harsh, and I'm losing my line work. Now, another way you can do it is I can put these colors over the top and put, watch. I'm not going to put it on overlay. We'll just leave it as normal. Put it underneath. But we're going to put all of these things on multiply. Okay, and I'm going to show you why. If I have it on multiply and I paint dark brown. See? My line work is still there. See it? Well, pixelated, but my line work is there. If I didn't put those layers on multiply, this is what it would look like. Like ass. Like I'm just blobbing it, right? Not horrible, but I don't want to undo all my line work. So this is another way that you can go about kind of painting your mountains and so on. And the beauty of Photoshop is everything is on its own layer, so I can do whatever the hell I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in again here, okay, and I'm going to see where I'm at. And I'm just going to kind of start creating some small areas, some darks. I'm following the guidelines of what I did when I created the brush in the first place. And you don't have to go this, you know what I mean? That's too uniform. Change it up as long as you're not doing things on this side, because that's where my light's coming from. I can go maybe a little bit, like 30%, which maybe even looks a little cleaner to me. And what I'm doing is I'm using 30% opacity, so it's not so in your face. And if I keep going over, eventually I'm going to get full saturation. So, but this will just allow me to kind of shade a little better and kind of get into these crags, right? Like, maybe not that one, but it's okay. It doesn't have to be exact. It's not a lighting tutorial, folks, Remember, I'm making a map, but I'm not even doing it for a cartography project. This is a world. I'm building a world for D&D. Fantasy. So I don't need to obsess about every little map detail, and I certainly don't need to obsess about full college level courses in color theory and lighting, and you know what I mean? You don't have to know how. Press the switch on your wall and your light's going to turn on. Can you truly in the comments explain to me how light works? Truly? It doesn't matter. All I know is when I need light, I hit that damn button and magic happens, right? We're in that day and age. Well, in Photoshop, I know that I'm creating a little bit blending by creating kind of this opacity change a little bit where it's not as overt. It's not just a black splotch. And because I'm using digital software of Photoshop, it's allowing me to create some cool contrast in the mountains. See, I started with the full opacity, but I'm liking the way, this direction just kind of felt better for me, so I kept it. I stuck with it. And now I can go like 10% opacity and kind of just start to, that's not enough. To work a little more, with a little more precision, maybe a little more blend which makes it look a little more natural. You want to have real low opacity, but the downfall of that is it's going to take you forever. You know, so that's why I went up from... So you notice I'm kind of really darkening everything. It's okay if I darken in everything because I can just go over with the light, which will change. You know, you don't want this, like hard lines, you know, what I call color band-aids. So I just want to create in here. See, there's one there. And that's how you can start blending, is just messing with your opacities and stuff like this. So I'm tempted to look to see how this looks zoomed out as I'm at 400%, but I'm going to go lights now. So we're going to go here. We're going to go, let's just straight, no. I don't want yellow. We're going to go kind of in this real light tan parchment color. So now we're going to go like 30%. Boom. You know what? Screw it. Let's go 100. Bam. See that? It doesn't matter now, the areas that I made too light, because I can start to indicate the highs now. I can fill it in. I almost needed a middle tone, so almost color everything in brown first, just so I can get that the whole region can look... That was a bad one there. I don't want that one. The whole region can look kind of mountain colored, brownish, tan, whatever. But it's okay. We'll go here. We'll leave it. Where are we at on time? 21 minutes. Not terrible, but... Go here. And just like I said before, where you don't have to have it all look uniform, this can just use a couple of splotches on the peaks. I don't need this entire thing like this, right? By making that contrast, again, I don't know enough about lighting to be able to explain exactly how that works, but it's almost like my light is moving. You know, it makes it more living and breathing by having the light not hitting every peak the same. You know, it's the clouds will interfere with the way the rays will refract upon blah, blah, blah. So one thing I need to do is I need to go lighter here because these are really dark spots. See, I'm cleaning that up a bit because these are the ones I went that full opacity, right? And then I like the way that gray came out instead. So let's see where we are with this. I think I'm happy with it, but there's not enough diversity and contrast. So here's what I'm going to do is now I'm going to go another layer. We're going to call it mountain highs and lows. I don't know where I lost you, so I apologize, but it's the point of going unedited, right? So I'll kind of manipulate it a little bit in editing, but not going to obsess about it too much. But anyway, this is where we are so far. So we're getting some stuff going. You saw me throw down some mountains. I'll be back later. See you guys later.